In one fight, the WBO welterweight champ Terence Crawford stopped the two-time champ Shawn Porter in the 10th, sent Showtime into retirement, and made everyone question who the #1 guy in the division really is.
I didn't think it was close at all, to tell you the truth. I was out there, doing what I wanted to do, and once I got the look that it was close, I had to turn it up in that round, and that's when I got the stoppage.
The champ was the hot favorite despite not having fought in over a year, and this being the most important and easily the toughest fight of his welterweight career to date. Porter seemed more than comfortable getting on the scales ahead of his bout with one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the game. But perhaps that's because the 34-year-old had already decided that this fight was to be his last.
I'm prepared to retire. I was prepared to announce my retirement tonight. Win, lose, or draw. Even if it was a draw, we had it. They were telling us we were gonna have to do it again. I was not gonna do it again. I'm announcing my retirement right now. Yeah.
For 8 rounds, Porter pressured with speed and power, while Crawford expertly countered. In the 9th, Porter seemed to ease off, and Crawford came on, flooring Showtime twice in the 10th, before Porter's father and trainer Ken threw in the towel without regret.
Tomorrow morning, I will be able to look out of my window at his house, right across the street from me. I will be able to play with my little G-men, those are my grandsons. I will be able to walk my dog over to his house. I will be able to hug my daughter-in-law. And I will be able to love on my son. So we won before we got here. We were already winning. It's just what's expected in the ring, but in the biggest part of this picture, when this thing is over with, I'm still his father. He's still my son, right? And we get to do that part. That's a long life of that.
Porter retires with a record of 31-4-1, and he held the IBF welterweight title from 2013 to 2014 and the WBC title from 2018 to 2019. His only losses were to fellow welterweight champs, and if he couldn't beat them, it was time to leave them.
I'm not going to be a gatekeeper. You would look at the 4 losses and would assume that, he could be a gatekeeper. Now, that's not the life that I want to live. I've never wanted to live the life of a fighter who fought into his 40s. Quiet as it's kept, we wanted to fight when we wanted to end this when we was 30. We talked about that, and I'm 34, and now's the time.
As for Crawford, there's 2 more men he has to beat to officially claim the undisputed welterweight mantle. The first is Yordenis Ugas, who sent Manny Pacquiao into retirement for the WBA title. But the second is the WBC and IBF champ Errol Spence Jr., who is the man most considered to be who Crawford needs to be to prove he's the best at 140 pounds, but not Bud.
And like I said before, man, I don't need Spence. I've been the #1 guy in the division since I came here. 3-weight world champion, like undisputed world champion. Come in the welterweight division, my first fight, and win the title. Like, the things that I've been doing in my whole career is nothing compared to Spence. Not to take nothing away from him, he's unified and whatnot.
While he's not the undisputed champ, Bud has jumped above Errol Spence Jr. in the welterweight rankings, at least according to ESPN. The other man with a belt, Yordenis Ugas, is at 3, as it should be, but so often isn't in boxing. And the former title holders, Danny and Mikey Garcia, not related, along with everyone else, jumped a spot after Porter retired. Importantly, Porter took Spence to a split decision in a bout that could have been 2019's Fight of the Year. So the fact that Crawford stopped Porter says a lot. Spence is currently without a dance partner, following a retinal tear to his left eye. That's healed now, so it might be time for Spence and Bud to finally settle the score. Canelo Alvarez could soon be chasing a championship belt in his 5th weight class, with the WBC approving the Mexican superstar's request to challenge for the cruiserweight title.
Good blood inside of me.
Alvarez became the undisputed super middleweight champion with an 11th round stoppage of Caleb Plant less than a month ago. Before that, Canelo claimed a light heavyweight title in 2019. TKOing the pound-for-pound crusher Sergey Kovalev. This was all after unifying titles at light middle and middleweight. As Canelo has never fought at cruiserweight, his trainer and manager Eddie Reynoso had to petition the WBC in order to get a title fight against their current champion, the significantly larger Ilunga Makabu. To that, Reynoso said, "I know what he has done with the heavyweights he spars with, and that is why we asked for the fight. We know that Makabu is strong, but Canelo can beat him." For the other three major sanctioning bodies, the cruiserweight limit is 200 pounds. The WBC, however, recently introduced a new bridgerweight division between cruiser and heavyweight, and conveniently lowered their cruiser limit to 190. Canelo is the champ at 168, so Makabu, who hasn't lost since 2016, is the larger man with a clear height, reach, and size advantage. Despite this, and Makabu's penchant for stoppages, the much more experienced Canelo will still be the favorite. But Makabu is keen. "I'm feeling very happy because I'll fight the best boxer on the planet," bragged Makabu. Canelo has been beating everyone, but now he's fighting one tough man. In fight announcements, Jesse Vargas has reportedly signed on to fight Liam Smith in a bout between two former champions. Smith won the WBO junior middleweight title in 2015 and defended it twice before dropping it to Canelo Alvarez in 2016. He hasn't been able to win a major world title since, but he's won some minor ones. The former junior welter and welterweight champion Vargas has hit hard times since 2015, going 3-3-2 in his last 8 fights. Vargas will make his super middleweight debut against Smith in Las Vegas this coming January the 29th, with the winner eyeing off a shot at a title. And the undisputed women's welterweight champion Jessica McCaskill has signed on to make her second defense of the title in her first fight in 2 years that won't be against the great Cecilia Brækhus. McCaskill takes on the former light and junior welterweight champ Victoria Bustos as part of the Devin Haney-Joseph Diaz undercard in Vegas this December 4. And in championship results, Demetrius Andrade demolished Jason Quigley. Murodjon Akhmadaliev retained. Kaylee Reese won a vacant title. And Julio Cesar Martinez and McWilliams Arroyo scored knockdowns before a head clash prematurely ended their bout in a no contest. Thanks for watching. And remember, if you want more fight sports in your life, just hit the subscribe button.